Hey, 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 Broncos Country. It's time for another episode of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network. Guys, it's been a tumultuous week of feelings for Denver sports fans. A lot's been going on. Basketball, hockey, all kinds of things. But one thing we can always agree on, we love the Denver Broncos, and we're here to talk about it. The Denver Broncos are rising in the power rankings all across the NFL. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack. Here we go, Broncos Country. Let's friggin' get it.
So smooth, the pins to chew, breaking down plays about to debut. Denver pride in every view, nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Bright lights of my heart in our view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. From draft picks to game reviews, celebrating wins, analyzing the clues. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. No orange and blue.
Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast.
Well, what is up, Broncos Country, and how you doing, Orange and Blue crew? Welcome to another episode of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and on our sister station, MHRT Network. I'm so glad you decided to join us tonight. I am Johnny Baki, the Mile High Viking, and with me, as always, my cousin, my childhood best friend, and my co-host, Jay the Dream Weaver. What's up, cuz? How was your week?
Oh, it's been a good week, man. Ups and downs. Saturday was the quintessential heartbreak / heart make type of day in Game 7s. And that transitioned into last night being the vibes of all Vibe Fests for Denver sports with Mr. Eric Gordon. So, man, today has been a day of the national media taking recognition. And as we're going to talk about on this pod, the Broncos getting some national recognition as well. So Denver sports on the up and up. Let's go.
On the up and up. And I mean, and yes, I'm in the same boat as you, cuz like Saturday night, I was all into it. I was so pumped. The Nuggets, clinched Game 7, not just clinched Game 7. They blew the Clippers out of the water in that game.
Wrecked shit.
Absolutely destroyed them. And it was a thing of beauty, and it was one of the greatest things I'd ever seen, was to do that to a team as good as the Clippers in Game 7. It was phenomenal. What did we have? It was the first game of ever where there was 6+ players on the same team with 14 or more points.
Yeah. Just like overall
in the postseason. Or no, not in the postseason, but in a Game 7. It was a perfectly put together game. And then to follow it up right after, to sit down and watch the most ironic loss I think I've ever witnessed, at least as far as Denver sports go. And I say ironic because that loss came at the hands of Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah.
And the guy plays for us for half a season, he played for us for many years, won a championship with us, was a cornerstone of this team. Obviously, we couldn't pay him, McCarr, and McKinnon, so we had to let somebody go. We let him go. And, of course, we would never, ever trade him in conference. So we trade him to Carolina, who flips him right around to Dallas. And then we have to face him in the postseason, and in the Game 7, the dude scores a hat trick on us and knocks us out of the playoffs. it was so ironic and painful. There really were no words for it.
It was heartbreaking. The vibes couldn't be better coming off of the Nuggets game. And then right as that Nuggets game ended is right when that third period started off for that game 7.
Yeah.
And we were up 2-0. All was well. I was feeling great. And then literally the entire world crashed upon us as Avs fans. And it was reminiscent of, honestly, of a lot of vibes that I had last year for Game 7 for the Nuggets and Timberwolves. Y'all had this. Game. Yeah, you know better than anyone for that game. Like, we had it, and then we let it just slip through our hands last minute, and can't be a worse taste in our mouth. And that's why the power play coach was relieved of his duties today via press conference with Joe Sakic and McFarland. So that's the right move. Bednar's not going anywhere. That's, exactly what this team needs.
Jared Bednar's still solid, but we definitely, I mean, there was so many opportunities in that game, Jay, to score on the power play, and we just let it. I mean, and all the of course, mad respect to Rantanen. I mean, he gets there, and the Stars' two best players on aside from him are out, and they managed to move on with him at the helm, and he did a wonderful job. And of course, I gotta give mad respect to Ottinger. The guy is one hell of a goalie, of a goaltender, and he deserves that. He deserves his his respect. But it did
between the third period of Game 7 and the second period, I believe, of Game 6, Rantanen had 8 points in 2 periods.
Yeah.
Absolutely unacceptable. You can't have it. But as Joe Sakic said earlier today, we didn't lose because of Mikko Rantanen. We lost because of the power play. And he's totally right on that.
And another side
at the same time.
Absolutely. And another side of the irony of that loss is the guy that, in my opinion, cost us the game, Jack Drury, the defenseman that we brought in that trade with me, the Mikko Rantanen trade, committed that absolutely terrible penalty with 4 minutes left to go.
Yeah. It was bad stuff overall. Like,
it was.
I tried to watch some hockey actually yesterday. And I can't do it. So I'm going to watch the cup being lifted because I haven't, missed that since like 1998 or something like that.
I was going to say since we were like 7 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. But like other than that, hockey can kick rocks till October. I'm over it.
Yeah. But of course, we have our NBA and as well. And, I'm right now I've got the Cleveland, Indiana game on right over here to, and Indiana's making a comeback on Cleveland right now. They're down by 6 with 7:12 left in the fourth.
Well,
but we're not talking about Cleveland. We're not talking about Indiana. We're talking about our freaking Denver Nuggets, baby. Represent.
Yep.
Because what a game! What a game one of the conference semifinals.
Aaron Gordon getting that shot off with 3.2 seconds, and it representing the 32 number that he wears for his brother on his jersey. And then after post game, he brings his niece and nephews onto the press conference table after the game. Just, dude, you can't say enough. Like, I am so proud that he is a Denver sports icon, and I am so excited for his jersey, whatever number, to be lifted into the rafters. And under it, it needs to say Mr. Nugget, because there couldn't be a better Mr. Nugget than Aaron Gordon.
I mean,
absolutely.
Obviously, we all know that everything begins and ends with the best player in the world right now, Nikola Jokic.
Obviously.
But and of course you can't go wrong with the guy who comes in clutch, all the time, and that's Jamal Murray, especially in the postseason. But Aaron Gordon is, in my opinion, second to Nikola Jokic, is the most important player on the Nuggets team.
Yeah.
And there's just something about him. He struggled so hard when he was down with Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he came here, a lot of people were, we made the trade, point guard or guard for guard, Aaron Gordon for Gary
Harris and RJ Hampton.
Yeah. And it was And a lot of us were like, really? We're giving up Gary Harris for this Aaron Gordon guy? And then he came to Denver, got his fresh start, and boy, was it a fresh start. And, twice now in the playoffs, like the game-winning, basket, dunk, whatever. He's really come into his own, and he's such a stand-up guy on and off the court. What a dude. What a game. And, I mean, and of course, you got to look at the way that game played out. It was going the way that all the national media thought it would. Most of the game, we were, we lost our lead at 24-22 in the first quarter, and because we came out, we punched OKC in the mouth, and before they could really get their defense set. But once they got their defense set, it flopped, and then we were down by an average, probably the whole game, of 10 to 11 points, just the whole time. And every time it looked like we were going to make a push to come back, they would just start sinking them again and and run the score back up. It wasn't until the last 2 minutes of the game that the Nuggets really made their push, and to come back like that and to retake the lead and the lead for the win, like that basket, huh?
First lead since I believe 3 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yes. To take that lead at 3.2 seconds left to win the game. That's Nuggets basketball. That's what the Nuggets do. They are the most clutch team in the NBA. And it was just such a thing of beauty. And Nikola Jokic, what did he have? 43 and 22?
A 40-26 game. 40-22-6, I believe.
I think that sounds about right. 40 points, 22 rebounds.
Dude, he is the best player in the world. This is not only the battle of MVP candidates and SGA versus him, which obviously any person with a brain that watched that game last night could obviously tell who the MVP of this league is. It's not even a question. SGA is just like a compliment on their team. Like he's not even the focal point. It is.
No, he's good, but he's not the MVP. And I'm going to tell you, when the fans in Oklahoma City kept chanting MVP every time he took the line, I was like, I was getting so pissed off because I was like, one, no, he isn't, and two, he's never been. So stop. So there are two MVPs currently on that court, and their names are Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic. So
I'm gonna throw some props out. Fanatic Dak, he showed up and said that he was picking Nuggs in 6, and that was my exact mirror prediction for this series, because I honestly looked at it as SGA versus Jokic for the MVP discussion, and Jokic is going to feel disrespected in that regard. So you instantly have fired to the best player on the team, and then the number 2 most important player on this team, Jamal Murray, his Canadian counterpart in SGA, that showed him up on Team Canada in the Olympics this past summer. Absolutely.
He's got a chip.
Murray was embarrassed, and he should have been, for his
performance. He should have been. It was awful.
Olympics. It was
his Olympic performance was garbage.
Horrendous. And I claim that Murray's going to have a don't disrespect me game in this series. And it could be game 3. It could be game 2. But he's going to go off, and he's going to show that he's the best Canadian basketball player in the lay of the land. So, man, it's going to be a fire series. I'm so excited. And the vibes. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I can't get over. I just can't get over what we saw in the game and how, I don't know, they're so resilient. And mad props also thrown out to David Adelman, who, comes in as the interim head coach with 3 games left in the regular season and won all 3, and then won a 7-game series again, to take us to the conference semifinals. Listen, that dude is going to be an NBA head coach.
I'm gonna steal a super chat from the DNVR post game last night, but it was something along the lines of, before our eyes we have seen an adult boy turn into an adult man.
That's beautiful.
He is.
But the point great. That the thing that I'm seeing is that guy is going to be a NBA head coach.
Yeah.
And if the Nuggets, if the Cronkies don't come to the conclusion that he should continue to coach the Nuggets, I think they're stupid.
We'll see. We'll see about that. At the end of the day, it's whatever Jokic wants. If Jokic isn't comfortable with that, and that's not the plan Jokic wants, then so be it.
I guess that makes sense. But still,
that man is the coach.
The players seem to trust him. They seem to have faith in him, and they seem to be comfortable with him. I think that there's a lot to be said for that.
Today, news break: Nick Wright, obviously of Denver sports, did proclaim that Jokic is the best player in the world and that he has held that opinion for quite some time, and went just short of saying he was wrong about the MVP, because obviously no surprise he's been an SGA for MVP person. But I spin that to say that he has been the hugest critic of Jokic throughout his career, and he now has seen the light and done a complete 180. And you may be able to say the same thing when it comes to Bo Nix and when it comes to the Broncos, because as we're going to have highlighted on this show, there are some up and down power rankings of what the national media and people view the Broncos as. They don't see the Broncos in the same light as the Avalanche and Nuggets right now.
Yes. So
totally different.
Gonna hit our comments real quick. Shy is asking us, do we think the Nuggets could win game 2 tomorrow night?
100%. All the
I absolutely do. City. We've already beaten them at home once. It's well, not at home. We've already beaten them on their home court. It's another away game tomorrow night. But the thing is, we've already taken away their home court advantage with that win. And so we've proven we can do it. And here's the thing. The Nuggets, think about this for a second, Shy. All right. The Nuggets went into last night's game with less than 48 hours of rest following their Game 7 victory. Right? Oklahoma City had 8 days of rest. And we came out and we beat them. So now both teams are going to be starting out on pretty even ground as far as exhaustion goes. As far as the fatigue and the what is that? Victory by attrition. As far as the attrition goes on the whole thing, both teams are going to be starting out a little more even with this next game. And so, I absolutely think the Nuggets can get it done. But it's the playoffs. Anything can happen.
I was going to say, it'll come down next game, I think, to a Jamal Murray game. I truly believe that's going to be a swing in one of these games. So why not next game? Just let Jamal run the offense and let him go cray-cray. Like, he needs one game. Let Jokic rest for a game. Like, just chill out, dude.
No, I mean, he's got to be out there, but still. You can't put the best player in the world on the bench in a semifinal round. You just can't.
But he can't score 40 a night consistently, and that's not a good thing for our team. Like, that's not a good thing.
I mean, there will be things that need to be addressed in the offseason for sure. D-Rock says, "Sup, dudes," with a salute. It's good to see you, D-Rock. Sorry about your Lakers, my friend. Now that the Lakers are out, since right now we're talking basketball, I'd love to know, since the Lakers are now out, who are you picking or wanting to go all the way this year? In the West, at least. Help us out. Dave Glassman first came in on Facebook. He says, "Go effing Broncos." It's our buddy Dave. But then he comes back in and says, "Facebook is broken. YouTube for the win." It's good to see you, Dave. We're glad you're here. Broncos in. Got my game 4 tickets. Haven't been to a Nuggets game in 15 years.
You're in store for a good time.
One in a season.
You're in for a good time.
I haven't been to one since the conference semifinals last year against Minnesota. I went to 2 games in that series. Actually, Jay and I, we were together. We went to game 5 together, and then I was at game 7. So it was a good time. It was definitely a good time. So get ready, man, because there's nothing like a playoff game, an NBA playoff game. It's the atmosphere is special. So all right, so welcome to the show, guys. Sorry, we kind of went off on a non-Broncos tangent for a minute because all around we are Denver sports fans, except for the Rockies. And so, we had to talk a little bit about, what we've been seeing, what we're so excited about right now. And I can't wait for tomorrow night. I know you can't, Jay. I got to talk all kinds of smack in the office today. That was nice.
That's good, man.
It is. It's very good.
It's a proud time to be a Denver fan, and Broncos included, man, because like we're a hot
D-Rock
team.
says,
we're a hot team right now.
Yeah, D-Rock says he wants it to be the Warriors. I mean,
we're destined for a Minnesota-Denver final.
I think so. I believe so. No disrespect to Jimmy Buckets, to especially no disrespect to Steph Curry, because I respect that player so much.
I don't respect Draymond Green.
I was about to say absolutely no respect for Draymond.
Yeah, you can have.
But beyond that, I don't think they're going to be able to get past Anthony Edwards and the Wolves, man. I just don't.
He's insane.
But we'll see, I suppose. So, guys, now we'll pivot to the real, to the actual show here. This is the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. So, obviously, it's time to talk some Denver Broncos.
Meat and potatoes.
The meat and the potatoes. And we've been talking about the win last night, which was exciting. It was a hell of a dub. Got to show some love to the sponsor of tonight's show, which is how everybody here can go ahead and get their own dub. The link is in the bio below, and Jay's got it right there in his hand. That's Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend. And you can, like I said, the link's in the bio beneath. Check it out. Dubby comes in a multitude of delicious flavors. Every single cup of Dubby comes with 2 cups of coffee worth of caffeine. However, Dubby is special because you won't get the jitters or the crash later, because Dubby has no sugar. It also has no calories or maltodextrin, no fillers, no artificial colors. It is all natural. It's nothing but amino acids, B vitamins, nootropics to help keep you sharp throughout your day, and caffeine that is derived directly from the coffee plant. This stuff is absolutely delicious. Gets you the kick in the pants you need to start your day, get through your day, and not crash after. Great stuff. We both swear by it. So I'm telling you guys, go ahead, get yourself the dub. Check out our sponsor, and the way that you get yourself the dub for real is to punch in code NRWOB10. NRWOB10 will get you 10% off your order. Guys, go check out Dubby. You will not regret it. So, Jay, Denver Broncos time. Not a whole lot of news.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm mad about, Johnny, is the delay in
what
rookie
really
numbers.
grinds your gears? What grinds your gears?
Delay in rookie numbers. I want to know who's where and what, and this is always such a because other teams are releasing their rookie numbers, and I'm really impatient. I want to know, what Barron's going to have, and what is Harvey going to have? I don't know. Things could go nuts.
We know that at least some of these guys ain't gonna be able to wear the number they wore before, for sure. Jahdae Barron can't wear number 7. Sorry, bud, that one is truly retired.
Yep.
But then again, let's see, who is it? Pat Bryant wore number 84. Shannon Sharp's old numbers, and that's not retired.
That's been a huge discussion around the pods. The pods is a bunch of retired number talk because of Shador, because of just the general discussion of that. And
there's only as far as I know 3 truly retired numbers
for the Broncos
on the Denver Broncos, and that's John Elway, and then Floyd Little, number 44. And then Frank Tripucka Frank Tripucka and Peyton Manning with number 18.
Yep.
So, pretty much any other number is up for grabs. Obviously, we know that a couple years ago they laxed the rules on who could wear what number. So you can pretty much wear anything. Anything available. I guess we'll just have to see.
Without it being official, there's always an unspoken culture around picking a certain number. For instance, Philip Lindsay asked Terrell Davis.
He asked Terrell Davis.
Yes. That is an honorary thing that, hey, if I'm going to do that position and it's a reflection of that past player, then You should ask for
Yeah.
permission, even if it's not
You should.
retired.
And then, of course, there are other numbers that you just don't pick because of that franchise. Like, I'm sorry, nobody should be going out there wearing number 88.
I agree.
Demaryius Thomas's 88 may not be retired, but man, there is such a legacy behind that number. And, I get that the Broncos players die all the time, but there was something about his death, so young, so soon after our Super Bowl victory, all that just made it so much more painful for the franchise, painful for the fan base. And so, I don't think anybody should ever ask to wear number 88 on the Broncos.
I would agree with you. I mean, I couldn't think of another person after Von Miller, but I guess there was Nick Vanette, tight end, wore 88 for the season after.
You talk about 58? Oh.
No, 88.
Okay, 88. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And I didn't, obviously I think that was still when, DT was in Houston. Like he was still actively
he was
playing.
still alive.
Yeah.
He was alive. I'm not talking, that was different. But now that he's gone, now that after the honor that they did of painting 88 on the sideline for the game against the Detroit Lions that year, and the really cool first snap of the game where they snap the ball, one player down, things like that whole thing, I don't think 88 would be a number that anybody should ask to be wearing.
Understandable.
If they know anything about Broncos culture.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll find out. I'm assuming we'll probably find out this week at some point.
It sounds like Bryant's going to be 13. At least these are the most,
He wore 13. No, somebody wore 13. Was it him that wore 13 in college? I think it was him. He was
Maybe.
13. He was. I remember thinking that because I was watching his highlights. I saw number 13 and was like, my lucky number. I've always loved the number 13. Well, not lucky number, but my favorite number because everybody always thinks it's bad luck, and I like to say I create my own luck. So I don't care that it's the unlucky number. So I wore 13. That was my number. And so all the power to him, dude. Do it. Yeah. Get out there in that number 13. Let's make something special out of it that isn't Trevor Siemian.
True. I just it's very, very weird times, I guess, for rookies to ask vets for. I know that happened with the Giants rookie. He's asked Lawrence Taylor, and he asked someone else on the Giants. But I mean, he got denied twice in two different jersey requests from legends to be, on the Giants. So very crazy, man.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that some of these rookies need to keep in mind. You've proven nothing in the NFL yet. Right now, Phillip Lindsay going to Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis is just such a sweet guy. He's such a nice guy, period. Phillip Lindsay going to him at the same position, hometown kid. I think that's why TD was willing to say.
He's a hometown kid.
I think that's why TD was so willing to say yes early on, because Terrell Davis knows Colorado high school sports. He probably knew exactly who he was. Of
course. But he idolized him growing up. That's his whole game actor.
Veterans switch numbers too. Veterans do switch numbers when they become available. So, if you want to wear, for that rookie with the Giants, if you want to wear Lawrence Taylor's number,
so then
let me ask you out there. Yeah.
Would you be fine with Barron saying I want 24? Yeah.
I mean, it's tough.
That's a tough thing to think about. But I mean, Barron's up to the snuff. He's going to be amazing.
But again, he hasn't proven anything. So it would really come down to what does Champ Bailey feel about it, and do you actually have the balls to ask him? Now that being said, you go out there in your rookie season and you ball out and you show these legends that you're the real deal, and then you give them a call and be like, hey man, I would really appreciate being able to switch to your number next season. Would you be willing to let me do that? Then maybe they might, someone like Lawrence Taylor or someone like Champ Bailey might be like, you know what? I watched you last season. Well done. You know what? Go ahead. But for these Hall of Fame players, Lawrence Taylor, Champ Bailey, Terrell Davis, that they are Hall of Famers. These are legendary players we're talking about. And until you've proven yourself, that number is kind of sacred to them.
So I'm sorry, I'm just filling in the blank. It was Abdul Carter, the rookie for the Giants, and he asked Phil Simms, their legendary quarterback, for his number. A pass rusher asking for the best quarterback in the franchise history. Although maybe Eli Manning, but that's nuts. That's crazy.
No way.
How dare he? How dare he?
No way. Not a snowball's chance in hell. Not a snowball's chance in hell.
Phil Simms is John Elway to them. Phil Simms is John Elway to them. That community.
Yes.
Same time
he
period.
is. I mean, he wasn't John Elway, but he is a legend to them.
Yep.
So,
craziness.
I mean, it's nuts.
Sorry to go on a tangent
Michael.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's fine. We got Michael Yost in the house saying, let's go, boys. Seeing the Nuggets are still winning. The Broncos are still winning. Denver is back on the come up. What we going over tonight? Well, Michael, we're just talking Broncos. The main theme of the show tonight will kind of just be talking power rankings because, while we haven't really gone up or down in some NFL power rankings have really shifted for us. And that means the national media is starting to put some respect on a name.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a bit about that, but whatever we want to talk about, you guys want to throw something in the comments you want to talk about, help us drive the show because there's not a whole lot coming out of Dove Valley right now. There really isn't. I would like to take a moment and talk about, for those that didn't catch it, go on over to Predominantly Orange. I put up an article this week talking about our new tight end. I don't know if you got a chance to read it, Jay. I hope you did. I wrote an article, just shy of 1,000 words. It's I felt like it was a very, very informative article about this young
Lohner,
buck
right?
coming out of Utah, about Caleb Lohner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about him. First, though, I would love to show you this. This is so for those that don't know, most who watch the show regularly know I'm a veteran. And most probably know at this point that I'm also a disabled veteran. And so I don't walk so good due to some wounds and injuries I sustained to the ankle. So I walk with a cane most of the time. And my new cane came in this week.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful, handmade wood, vinyl under a clear coat. But the coolest part of this, the handle, this is an NFL officially licensed Denver Broncos billiards ball, a pool
Interesting.
ball. On the top here, they put a bolt in, put it into the handle. So now everywhere I go, man, I'm walking with my Broncos.
That's crazy.
And the other thing I love about it, with a pool ball on the end of a stick, this thing's a club.
I was gonna say, walking around with a weapon there.
You dang right.
Oh wow!
But
wow, that's pretty nice.
I was very thank you. I thought so. My only qualm, and this was for those that I don't know if there's anybody in the chat or watching after the fact that's handicapped, needs a new cane, and is looking for something like that. The walkingcanecompany.com. That's where it came from. I gave them good reviews. However, my only qualm was that the vinyl that made the wording and the striping on there was not sealed. There wasn't a clear coat on it. So when I first got it and started walking with it, I noticed that one of the letters started to peel up a little bit. So I had to go out personally and buy some polyurethane and seal it. Now that that's done, it's perfect. Otherwise, I mean, it's a great company, the Walking Cane Company. They don't sponsor the show, but hey, free
review,
Matt,
free plug.
Shout out to them. Yost, my buddy, coming in saying a pimp named Bronkbach.
Oh wow,
Bronkback. Broncos bonkers. Don't use that cane in vain. I won't, my friend. I won't, man. You'll see me at the games, man, now in my full Mile High Viking garb with a Broncos cane now. It used to be just my little hook, shepherd's crook style cane. Now I'm rocking a Broncos cane, man. I'm so excited about that. So
very nice.
I just wanted to show it off. because I thought that was kind of fun for me as if you're going to be a cripple, you better be a cripple in style, right?
Yeah, you're on brand. Very on brand for your accessories.
You're right. Well, I mean,
That's
let's be honest, Jay. What do I own that isn't Broncos or Star Wars? I mean, that's pretty much my thing.
A happy late May the 4th to you.
Yes, it is Revenge of the 6th today.
There you go.
because what you have is you have May the 4th be with you.
Sure.
Then you have Cinco de Mayo, so you eat a lot of Mexican food, and then it's Revenge of the 6th.
Okay. That's a pretty rough 2-day stretch in there. That makes sense.
Right?
And it's usually thick of the playoff season as well. Pretty much every single year. I mean,
yes, it is.
It's a lot coming at you super fast. Welcome to spring.
So let's see. Okay. Yo says, as far as your article, I liked it, but I need to see us actually target our tight end. And we will. We will. Now, getting to Loner, okay? I wrote my article from a very optimistic standpoint because that's who I am. I'm an optimistic person.
Well, it couldn't have been very long since he's had how many snaps, Johnny?
You're right.
Do you have that stat in the article?
I have that stat in there. I have all the stats in there, but I also have other stats. In there, and that's what I wanted to kind of talk about. Is that everybody's been so out on Loner because he only had 57 snaps, 4 receptions as a college football player. I get that, but I will point out all 4 of his receptions were very, very impressive red zone touchdowns.
Yeah.
On top of that, he's got incredible vertical on top of being ridiculously tall. He has great body control, because he was a basketball player. And then I started talking about some of these, some others that his story is very similar to. One of them being a legendary tight end nowadays named Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Graham, get ready for this. Okay, Caleb Loner only played 57 snaps in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had 4 touchdowns. Jimmy Graham only had 17 receptions in college and only 5 touchdowns. It's not that big of a departure there. Okay. Another one, and I tried to make a point of this after the draft in our group chat, especially, was that you got to remember another tight end that may not be a legend, but he is a prolific name in Broncos country. And that is a guy named Julius Thomas. Julius Thomas was a college basketball player. Slightly different story was that with Caleb Loner, he started out playing for BYU, for Brigham Young, and then he switched to Baylor. Okay. But on Baylor, he was coming into Baylor. He was a top 100 recruit in basketball going into college, a top 100 in the nation. All right. So he was a 5-star recruit basketball wise. He goes to BYU, has some success, decides he wants to transfer to Baylor right after Baylor won the national championship. Right. And because of the talent on that team, he ended up becoming a bench player. And as a result,
can't have that.
And everything else went down for him.
Can't be on the bench.
So that's sports. Now, because of COVID, he had an extra year of eligibility. So he decided to use that. A lot of players are doing that. That's why we're seeing some older players coming out of college right now. He decided to do that. And he put his name back into the transfer portal. It was at that time that the tight ends coach at Utah, not the basketball program, the tight ends coach at Utah goes,
what a shot in the dark.
I think this guy would make an amazing football tight end. And they recruited him, and he transfers to Utah to play football.
He scored a touchdown against the Buffaloes.
Yeah, he did end up ultimately playing basketball for Utah as well. So he played dual sports in this last season, but he was recruited to Utah to play football. They turned and everything that his tight ends coach had to say about him was that not only was he not only did he have great body control, the vertical, good hands, great hand-eye coordination, all that. But he also was just saying his work ethic is second to none. When the whole, he was saying that when the whole team, because, he knew he was coming into this game, with a bit of a handicap, obviously, that when the whole team would leave for the day, he'd remain on the field for up to an hour playing, taking passes from the launcher and doing and working on his footwork and everything else and learning the playbook. He is a workhorse. He wants to learn. All of those things, I'm sure, are the traits. And so I said in my article, were the traits that Sean Payton was looking for when he decided, I want him.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I like the kid. I think he's got high potential.
He does.
Basketball players really come into the NFL and just be ballers.
I think he will be guaranteed some red zone plays. I think you're going to draw something up at least for him. Because that's what he's still. Right. I mean, he can box anyone out: linebacker, defensive back, safety. It doesn't matter. Like he's
tall.
A crazy athlete. Like he's a basketball player.
Real quick, Jay, I just want to pull. Say this right now. There's 27. This is so reminiscent of last night. Right now, there's 27.5 seconds left in the Cleveland pace, Indiana and Cleveland game. It is 119-116. Cleveland over Indiana. With 27 and a half seconds left.
Tyrwise having a heart attack.
I know, man. I know. But anyway, so I really like Caleb Lohner. I think he'll be something special. Maybe not right away. Yeah. Maybe not this season. I mean, you're going to put him in behind a game, one of the best tight ends in the NFL right now in Evan Ingram. He gets to learn from him. He gets to learn from Sean Payton. And he gets to, build some confidence and everything. I think that by his sophomore, campaign, he could be something on this team.
I mean, that's the same exact reasoning I had for taking someone like Fandon Jr., like what we had in the third round of the mock, like a flyer on a project tight end that you just bury in the sand until Evan Ingram's done. And Evan Ingram ain't going to be here for like 5+ years. That just I don't think is realistic.
I mean, here's the thing. That's the thing. We don't know. He could be. He's only 30. And,
True.
Some of these tight ends are playing up to 37, 38 years old. And, yes, he has some injury history. But, again, Bo Lowry, man, we don't know what – oh, my God. Oh, my God, Jay. Indiana just shot a 3, went up 120 to 119 to win the game.
Oh, no. Who shot it for Indiana?
I didn't catch it. I literally just saw the bucket sink.
So, dude, the playoffs
Indiana just beat Cleveland. They're now 2-0 in this series, but it was literally almost identical to the end of our game last night.
So that is catastrophic for Cleveland because they lost both their home games. Oh, those poor bastards.
Gotta feel for him, man. But it literally looks almost exactly like, okay, who was it? Who is that? Number 0 on Indiana. I couldn't see his name. I think it might be Halliburton.
Yeah.
It was the only difference was the 3 he took was a straightaway 3. So it was literally from downtown. Yeah, it was Halliburton. It was Tyrese Halliburton.
Dude,
so yeah. So poor Tywai. I'm feeling for him right now.
Yeah,
man.
Poor Tywai.
But anyway, getting back to our Broncos, I like Caleb Lohner. I think he can be something special in the future. I don't expect him to come out and ball this year. Now, if he does, if what his college coach was saying about his work ethic and how quickly he learns and picks it up happens in training camp and we see him ball, it's possible. Julius Thomas did it.
Yep.
He was drafted in 2011, and he was on the roster playing in 2011. So it's possible. I'm not saying I expect it, though.
True.
So, I don't know. Go check out my article. Go check out my article. I think you'll find it informative, and it was a lot of fun to write. So, getting to do my deep dive and research on this young man, and I'm actually working on something where I'm trying to get him on the show. So, we'll see if that happens. Let's see. Yo says it's Bo. I think it's going to be determined by Bo's confidence and the comfort of the short game with the offense.
boy.
Mr.
Mr. Yost brings up a great point.
Mhm.
A great point. So goes everything, as in Bo. And hopefully Bo is everything we want him to be.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he lives up.
Here's the thing. We know from his time in Oregon, he is very comfortable in the short game. If you give him the right players that can play the short game, you give him a good tight end that can take, like Evan Ingram that can take the middle of the field for him. He is very good at making passes. And he as he was doing with Ferguson in Oregon before, Bo came to the Broncos. So I would not, it's not something I'm terribly concerned about. Obviously, at the NFL level, things change a little, but he is in his sophomore season, his second year under Sean Payton in the same system with the same coaching staff, which is something he's never had before.
Yep.
So, I think we'll be okay there. I really
do. His same, hubby, his whoopee in Sutton, which is going to be his go-to. And that's a big advantage for a quarterback too, just to have symmetry with his number one.
You just made my night by saying by calling Sutton his whoopee.
Well, it kind of is.
Well, no, but okay. In Army terms, and I know that Yost is watching, so he's going to understand. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. There is a piece of equipment that all soldiers have. It's their poncho liner. Okay, it's like a warm liner for your poncho for that's meant for being used in the rain to keep warm in cold rain. But the thing about that is we don't call it a poncho liner, we call it a whoopee. And our whoopee is literally our most sacred piece of equipment because we use it as our blanket, we use it as our pillow. I knew a dude who had his whoopee stolen and when he found out who stole his whoopee, nearly killed the guy.
Well, that's a very personal article to take. Like,
it is.
No value in
so,
that.
So like when I was getting out of the army, I didn't care about any of my equipment. I was like, give it all back. Get, take this, take that. I don't ever want to see it again. But I was begging. But I went out and bought a brand new poncho liner to give back to them so that I could keep my whoopee. And I still have it in my closet. And sometimes I still use the damn thing. And it still smells like Afghanistan. But it is my whoopee. Oh. So you made my night calling Sutton his whoopee.
Well, I mean, it is his security blanket, his go-to. The thing that gets him through the days is throwing it up to Sutton.
Here comes Yost. It is the Army version of a portable safe space. Your team leader smokes you for 3 hours. Whoopee makes you feel better. Wrap yourself in your blankie, buddy. That's what we did. No shame in any of that. But okay, so any last thoughts on Loner or anything like that?
I don't think so. It's
all right.
About Bo.
Perfect. Now, another person that we're going to be having, before we get into the power rankings, and another person, special guest we're going to have on the show here. Don't have an exact date yet. Still working out the deets. Is Kurt Tossie. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a very famous content creator on the internet. Got famous on Instagram. He's on TikTok and everything as well. Does a lot of really funny videos. Funny dude. And he was actually the guy that got to make the Broncos 6th round pick of Jeremy Crawshaw. Like he was at the draft, and the Broncos let him make that pick. Okay.
I know.
He was the one that got up there. He was the one that got up there and insulted Packers fans like passive aggressively, where he was like, y'all are so like. When they told me I got to make a pick, man, I ran all over Green Bay. I felt like I was Terrell Davis.
That's pretty great.
And then he was like, and how about, what was the next one that he said? I was like, yeah, and y'all are so nice, He's like, you're it's almost like our team beat yours in a Super Bowl. And then he like pulled up some, and then the last one he said was, and how about that helicopter flyover in the first round? I haven't seen such a beautiful helicopter since John Elway. Like right there in Green Bay was absolutely, he was just absolutely insulting Packers fans. It was great. Really funny guy, and we've been talking, and he's going to come on the show here soon. Just have to work out a date for that. So it's going to be a good time. So stay tuned for that.
Nice.
But now I think it's a good time to kind of pivot to the power rankings a little bit. We're about 50 minutes in, so it's a good time for that. Excuse me. So I've got several different power rankings kind of pulled up, and most of them, the Broncos are still kind of sitting in the same area, around, I think before the draft, we were ranked 13th overall in the power rankings. Some of them have us moving up to 11 and 12. One actually had us, I believe it was ESPN actually dropped us down to 14.
Yeah. I saw that.
But probably the most important one I'd really like to talk about is the fact that CBS Sports named the Broncos as fourth in the West.
In the West?
Fourth in the AFC. Sorry, in the AFC.
Oh, in the AFC.
I've got basketball in the brain. Sorry, fourth in the AFC, second only to the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens. So I mean, that is a really excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's like best.
That
case
is
scenario.
that is a really good place to be, though, when you consider how we started last year and where we've been.
Sure.
To suddenly be the fourth, by at least by their reckoning, the fourth best in the AFC. That's a pretty good come up, in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
No, it is. I don't know. It's pretty impressive in the year-over-yearness of that. The perspective of the Broncos, I feel like, is just a very up and down, because it's not necessarily a proven. It's not necessarily a proven thing. We've only had one. I'd say 3/4 of a regular season, because we really had like an extra 4 weeks that our offense was just completely, off the rails and wasn't our true offense. So like we haven't really had a full season yet of our offense, like, and how Bo takes everything. It's going to be a project still. But I don't know. I respect Sean Payton in wanting to like grow it a certain way and not like insert some crazy free agent. Like, can you imagine how different we would see the draft, like if we did get like Cooper Kupp or something, or did a big free agent wide receiver? I don't know. Our defense is going to be like number one. Chris Harris Jr. talked about it with Kay Adams, I saw the other day.
Oh, Strap is high on this.
He was like, this is going to be the number one defense in the NFL. And like he has every right to say that. Like, there's on paper, this defense is going to be insane. Like, that's
now, of course, in my opinion, I mean, this may just be me. We definitely still have to pay attention to the linebacker room very, very closely. Because yes, we got Dre Greenlaw, and that is a massive signing and a huge upgrade. But the injury history of every of all the linebackers we have in that room, and then kind of the ones that aren't the best players.
Alex Singleton,
Singleton injury, Greenlaw knee injury, a season-ending knee injury, Greenlaw season-ending knee injury in the Super Bowl. And then who was it? You had Drew Sanders. Justin Strnad. Sanders was shown to be subpar. At least he got exposed hard against Buffalo. And Strnad, I mean, he's got injury history now too.
Strnad had a pretty found ceiling. Like, we knew exactly, what max he could be. We needed an upgrade for sure on that. I still don't think we've seen what Drew Sanders is going to be. I kind of thought Drew Sanders might have a pretty big come up this season, because he's going to have an entire season under his belt being active, I think.
Well, not only active at the position that he's meant to play.
Him and Jonah Ellis, I feel like, are going to like probably surprise some people. It could be a really, really nice come up. I don't know. It'll be interesting. There's a lot
I
of
mean,
different
we can hope.
characters.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing. Sean Payton loves developing a young team.
Yep. That's the thing.
You know,
a lot of darts.
and let me see. Okay, Richie Rich coming in saying we will not do as well as we think. Interior defensive line and inside linebacker issues. No, I agree with you and disagree with you at the same time, Rich. I think as long as everybody stays healthy, we will be a force to be reckoned with.
I think
but
Malcolm
if there's an injury at inside linebacker, if there's an injury at defensive line, then we're gonna have to really get concerned.
Well, we've been very lucky in injury department for the last 2 years. Our injury rate has been pretty up there.
It's been the best in the NFL. It's been the lowest injury rating in the NFL. And
knock on wood there.
I mean, absolutely. I'll knock on it right here.
That's like, it keeps coming up red and you just are like, I'm going to pick red. The chances are, like, is it going to be the same thing? It's really hard to tell when it's going to swing the other way.
But you also can't forget to pay attention and have faith in trends either. Because mathematically speaking, trends are a quantifiable mathematical, scenario that you can pay attention to. And so, I mean, I'm not saying nobody's going to get hurt because that doesn't happen. Okay, it doesn't.
That's kind of what I'm.
There's never been a season.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, there's never been an NFL season for any team where they didn't have a player or 2 or 5 go down. What I am saying is that compared to what it used to be under Lauren Landau, Bo Lowry in the house now running things, it's taken a turn for the better. He is showing that the way that he is doing things, that his staff is doing things, is keeping this team healthier in the long run than it used to be. So it is something to have faith in. And so, like I said, I think that this defense absolutely will be a force to be reckoned with. It's a matter of if dudes get hurt. That might change the game a bit. We got Clayton Heron popping in the house saying, hey guys, what's up, Clayton? Glad to have you in the house tonight.
Howdy ho, Clayton.
He says, smash that like button and share, guys. And yes, he is absolutely right. If you have not already, please like, subscribe, share, comment on YouTube, Facebook, X. Check out the audio version of our podcast wherever you find your favorites. Also, we are partnered with sister stations, if you will, with MHRT Network. So please do them a solid. Like, subscribe, share, and comment over on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, even on Instagram. We'd appreciate it very much, guys. But it's very good to have Clayton in the house tonight. Richie Rich coming in. We need a bigger dude on the interior defensive line.
He's not wrong. But, no. I mean, Malcolm Roach will be just fine for the purposes of what we need him. And, like, I feel like DJ Jones is still going to be good. Like, we need another guy, like, for, different packages of, like, 4-3. When we have to play teams like Buffalo. When, running Baltimore. Double tight end sets are really rough because our linebackers are, very thin as well. So,
but we also do have, we also do have a better strong safety, which will help a lot in the run game.
That is true. We finally have a safety to go back, go into the box and flex. We have
go downhill and flex.
Safety help to be able to do that for a while. TJ Ward Thorner, just like, let's go. It might be awesome to see Hufanga turn into the TJ Ward role of just, be able to blitz a little bit more and have some more pressure. Terrific stuff.
Some strong safety blitzes written up just for him. I mean, I'm excited.
And how can you make that work like a ridiculous inside?
Yeah. It's going to be, I mean, it could, there's a lot of things that could happen. It's, it's still just too early to tell. It's just still too early to tell. But on paper, you're right. We have gotten better. And this defense, and, to Michael's point, to Yost's point back here, I'm confident in our secondary abilities. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we implement our 2 edge rushers. If we convert them to defensive end, I want to see every QB under pressure to throw. I mean, this secondary is going to be the best secondary in the NFL, in my opinion.
I feel like there will be a lot of coverage sacks. So, we're going to be able to have quite a bit of pressure organically with, a 4-man rush. Just because of what we can do in man. If we can switch to man and just take out the top, 2 targets of an offense. Mm-hmm. Crazy flexing we can do.
Yeah. Yo says backups need to be locked and ready to be called up. I know that's kind of a no crap statement, but we need to have everyone ready to move up and fill those slots with ease. And here's what I have to say. Sean Payton expects and garners excellence from every player on his team. It's how he was able to take a Saints squad that had Drew Brees and pretty much no other star talent to a Super Bowl and win it.
Yep.
Was because he gets the best out of every player on his roster. So, I mean, I think they'll be ready to do exactly what you're saying, Yost, especially since a lot of these guys are now going to be a lot more comfortable and ready in his system and VJ's system. The continuity of it all. It's going to be good, in my opinion. Shai Vargas saying Dre Greenlaw is injured now. Well, yes, but here's the that injury report
overblown.
So overblown, man. They're like he tore his quad, and so listen, medical standpoint from a medic. I'm right here. There, he strained his quad. A strain can happen to anyone. They've happened to me. Back in my Army days when I was still able to do that. I strained my bicep in the gym. It's not that serious. It's a couple of weeks of rest, ice, heat, and it heals pretty quickly. It was not a full tear. It's not a season-ending injury or even a months of rehabilitation kind of thing. It is a quick thing that he will. I mean, literally, he posted a video of him running in front of a horse at full speed the day that the report went out saying Broncos Country, I'm fine, or all is good, or something like that. So, no, it's not something to be terribly worried about, man. He is going to be ready to go. I mean, what are your thoughts, Jay, on this minor strain of his quad? I mean,
I don't think it's too big a deal. I think it's one of those things that if we see the same thing pop up in the preseason, then that's a different thing. But the stage we're at now, no big deal. It's all about timing with injuries. You're going to have injuries. It's just when are you going to have a string of not having them?
Excuse me. And if you want to look at the severity of what a strain is to especially to a quad muscle or something like that, if just look at the Nuggets this season, towards the end of this season, Aaron Gordon strained his calf muscle.
Yeah.
He
did a lot of resting on that.
He did some resting, but I mean, it was a few games at a time, and then he was back in playing. And look at him right now. I mean, not even 2 months later, he's putting away teams in the NBA playoffs. So I mean, it's not as serious as a lot of people made it out as they made it out to be with that initial report. It was way overblown. They didn't have all the information. They heard quad and they were like, "Oh, he tore it." And half of them, I guarantee, don't even know the difference. The ones that were reporting don't even know the difference between a strain and a tear.
Reporting from Kansas City, huh?
Yeah, right. Nick Wright, is that you?
Get off the phone.
So, I don't know. I'm not too terribly concerned about Dre Greenlaw's strain. He'll be fine.
It's exciting. We've got an exciting spread of things to think about in the off season as far as new parts and weaknesses we obviously needed. Like, I don't know, Evan Ingram's going to change everything. I think if done correctly. If done correctly, and he plays game like he believes in what Sean Payton's throwing down.
Payton knows how to use a tight end.
Yeah,
Payton knows how to use a tight end for everything that they're worth.
Yeah.
So, I'm just as excited about you or as you are about that. And as far as the power rankings go, while some of them have us sitting pretty much where we were before the draft, the fact that at least some of them have us moved up, and some of them even quite significantly. I think Rich said in his comment that the highest he personally saw was us ranked at 9 on the overall power rankings. But to see that from some of these big national media sites and publications, and and being talked about on television by people like Kay Adams. Kay Adams had us really high in the power rankings.
Yeah, she's a believer. She believes.
To hear all of that, we should be very encouraged. We are finally seeing some of that recognition.
Trending the right way. Definitely trending the right way.
Absolutely. D-Rock says, I actually feel sorry for all those wide receivers. Psych, just waiting in the terminal for their departure. But wait, postponed because of bad altitude weather. I love it, dude. Like they're gonna be, this secondary is gonna be so shut down, dude. Like I said it right, after the draft, man. Like with Jahdae Barron, Riley Moss, Pat Surtain, Hufanga and Jones.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Jones stick to one role and not have to play all the different type of places that he had to last year. Like he had to be in so many different places at once.
Well, I mean, the fact that your free safety is your leading tackler,
yeah,
it shouldn't have to be that way.
It's not a good stat.
It's not a good stat.
Position you want to be leading.
I mean, good for him. Good for him. You're getting them tackles, but at the same time, you shouldn't be having to count on your free safety to make that many tackles.
Yeah.
So that has been addressed, and there will be a change there for sure. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Like Brandon Jones getting to roam the field and hunt for interceptions.
Hufanga!
He's on the hunt. He's gonna be on the hunt, bud. and
so
he's a ball hawk. He's a ball hawk. He's gonna get him. So Yost coming in. I like being kind of ranked mid/underdog. It feels better when we start proving them wrong. You're not wrong, Yost, and that's the truth. That has been the truth of existence for the Denver Broncos and for Broncos Country forever. I mean, we have always been vastly underestimated.
We're small market. We're Cowtown. Yep. Like, we're not that big a thing in the national spotlight of selling ads.
Just look at Super Bowls. We were the underdogs to the Green Bay Packers. We beat them. We were the underdogs to the Atlanta Falcons in '98. We beat them. We were underdogs to the Panthers in Super Bowl 50. We destroyed them. Like, we've always been overlooked. And you're absolutely right. It is so much more validating when you're overlooked and then you come back and just whoop up on people.
Mm-hmm.
So, D-Rock, I saw one of those NFL QB rankings that had Bryce Young ahead of Bo Himothy Nix. What in tarnation? Ooh, you enough to get D-Rock to use the T word, man. The language. Ooh. Woo!
Well,
oh boy.
got to be honest with yourselves. Good
Yeah.
for him.
Now, why in the world would I don't know who had that QB ranking list? I don't know in what world Bryce Young has done anything enough to be ranked ahead of Bo, especially after last season. But guess we'll see.
I also saw a list that had Jaden Daniels number 1.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, really?
How ridiculous! What are we doing here?
Now, I will say that same exact list had the top 5 because I'm pretty sure you were talking about the same one. Had Jaden Daniels number 1, then it had Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and then Josh Allen, and then Bo Nix.
Yeah, I was going to say Bo Nix was extremely high on this list, and that's what also turned my head.
I will say that. I mean, even though they put Jaden Daniels as number 1, they did put Bo Nix high on that list too. So I don't know, dude. We'll see. It's not going to be a thing. When the regular season starts, all of these post draft before training camps even begun, power rankings are going to go just as out the window as all them damn mock drafts we did before the first round.
Well, Cliff Kingsbury for another year in Washington.
Yeah,
it's going to be fireworks.
Can I ask you? What is the trend with Cliff Kingsbury before he was with Washington was that every quarterback he ever coached plateaued. Yeah, but plateaued. And they hit a ceiling, and then their production went down because what did we talk about? We talked about it last season. The teams begin to be able to be it's very easy for teams to game plan against him after half a season.
Yeah.
So do you think in his second year that could be true for Jaden Daniels with since Cliff Kingsbury is calling the shots?
I mean, yes and no. They added someone like Deebo Samuel. They have a lot of different designed plans that I think they have for a lot of their playmakers. Scary Terry is going to have some runway that he's never had before with crosses and motion.
Yeah.
And just
I don't know. We'll see.
Cliff Kingsbury a lot. I think he's a really good offensive coordinator. He's not Cook, and he's pretty smart. If you're drafting fantasy football players, if you want like high floor NFL like gambles for the next year, Washington's not a bad pick because their offense is going to go nuts. Their defense might suck, but they're going to score points. So it's a good bet. I get why it's on some lists high. But there's also a couple that had May in New England higher than Bo Nix, which I think
I saw that
travesty. Travesty.
Yeah.
That's
it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
There's no middle ground. There's so wild, variants of where Bo Nix appeers. So there's not a consensus because we've had such a small sample size. Yeah.
And on that same list where we, like I said, that you mentioned with Jaden Daniels is number 1, Bo Nix is number 5, Caleb Williams was all the way back at like 12. It'll be very interesting. There were 2 teams I think in the draft that just kind of added everything in the kitchen sink, and that was the Patriots and the Bears. Like they had a lot of movement in the draft.
Ben Johnson in Chicago is going to light that city on fire finally. I think Caleb Williams is in for a great year. I think Chicago is going to be really good.
Yeah, I think they're up and coming. I think they're up and coming for sure. I don't know.
They got Luther Burton, dude. Luther Burton.
I know. And
oh my god,
they got him. They got him and Travion Henderson, didn't they?
Yep.
So they got some good pieces there.
No, they didn't get Henderson.
No.
Henderson went to New England, I believe.
They got one of them.
Who did? Yeah, they did.
Was it Omari in Hampton?
No, he went to.
He went to
Wanted to say San Diego. I still call him San Diego.
the Chargers. Yeah, he went to
Yeah,
the Chargers.
The Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers going to Charger.
Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah, nobody, not even your own fans, because you have none.
Yeah.
Game update. About halfway through the second quarter, it is 30-20 right now. Golden State over Minnesota.
Wow.
So, last thing I want to ask you, Jay. We've had another week or so to really kind of digest some of these picks that we made in the draft a couple weeks ago, and I want to know, R.J. Harvey, are you excited about him?
I am wildly excited for him because he is going to get into a role where he can't fail. He's not going to be asked to pass protect. If he's out there, he's a weapon. Whether it's like out of the backfield and he motions into slot, or he stays in the backfield and runs a route, he's not going to need to, protect Bo Nix. He needs to just get open. And I think he's going to have a great dynamic play call for him. Sean Payton's cooking things up for that position. Alvin Kamara was just ridiculous when he first came out. And that's where we're headed. And so excited.
I'd love to point out a lot of those that have some concerns about RJ Harvey are concerned about his size. But I'd love to point out again, I've done it previously, that he is almost identical in size to Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
Who everybody was saying is going to be this. I'm not saying that RJ Harvey is going to be the generational talent that we believe Ashton Genty will be. But, for those that were screaming and pounding the floor for us to move up in the draft to get Ashton Genty, you should not be concerned about the size of RJ Harvey because they are the same height, very only 5 pound difference in weight. And their speed was within, I think, 0.2 of a second of each other. So
the struggle that Harvey's going to have compared to Genty, though, is that Genty's going into a position where he's going to get fed the ball so much. He's going to get 25 carries a game
because he's all that the Raiders have now.
There ain't no way Harvey's getting more than 5 to begin with.
No. You're right.
He'll be used in coverage.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But I'm not saying you can. They're honestly, Genty to him, it is kind of an apples and oranges comparison in a lot of ways because they are they're very different players in terms of their play style. But I'm just saying when it comes to the concerns about size and build and all that, he's pretty much exactly the same as Ashton Genty.
Identical.
I've watched his film now probably 15 times. His the long highlights reel, the one that's 15, 16 minutes long. And I mean, not only does his, there are 2 aspects of his game, at least his run game, that just make me so excited to have him here. And that let me see why Sean Payton and George Payton decided to pick him instead of Caleb Johnson or instead of these guys. One is his acceleration. Okay. And of course, when I'm talking about acceleration, I'm not talking about top speed. Okay. Because, top speed is one thing. That's, he can get run down once he gets into a defensive backfield. They can run him down. His top speed may not be the fastest, but his acceleration is explosive. And when I say acceleration, I'm from slow to suddenly fast.
Mm-hmm.
His acceleration's absolutely insane. He is very patient. He waits for that hole to develop, and as soon as he sees it, from slow to fast, he's through that hole. And then, of course, his contact balance.
Yep.
The guy has a low, wide, center of gravity, and just bounces off tacklers.
He's going to be a phenomenal back in shotgun. That all this tells me is that we're going to be in shotgun a lot more than we were before because we have a perfect running mate now with Bo. It's going to be great. I think it's going to be a new playbook.
Yeah, that's the thing is that Bo can be absolutely He can absolutely play well in the pocket. He plays great in shotgun. He plays great in pistol. It just it opens up. So many. Having a runner like RJ Harvey, it opens up so much in our playbook. He might start out a little rusty. He's going to be a rookie, but it's going to allow us a lot more leeway in terms of the play action, and in terms of, just taking pressure off of Bo Nix, having to always escape, having to always run the ball.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of pressure off of him, and that's what I'm excited about. Yost says here, it's not the player, it's the playbook.
Well, I guess let me say it this way. I had heard mumblings of like Nick Chubb coming. I think I would be totally against that. I'd say we're good to go. Audric Estime, I think. I mean, let's give him a chance.
Well, I say that, well, I agree, because that I've been high on Estime, regardless of what, the backlash I took for that, because I said that during Denver Broncos media battles that I believed Audric Estime is going to, find his footing. Well, I do love him. It would not surprise me if they go bring in, because, we got a second wave of free agency coming up. It would not surprise me if a veteran back was brought in to supplement the room, to help teach some of these young guys. I don't know.
Because I feel like that's what, Audric Estime's role should be then. Like, it's kind of one or the other. Maybe not.
But his experience is limited.
True.
And I think they might be, and let's be honest, the experience of all the running backs in this room, the most experienced running back we have is Jaleel McLaughlin.
Oh, whoa.
And I mean,
that
there you go.
Coming off the tongue.
Now that I've said it and you've heard it, there you go. That's the most experience in the running back room in the NFL that we have is Jaleel McLaughlin. Tyler Bidet, way less, a season less than Jaleel. Blake Watson hasn't seen enough of the field. And Audric Estime, struggled in his rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I would not be surprised to see a veteran back be brought in free agency.
That would be interesting. Interesting that's a position that can still, there's some wiggle room. There's some things that could be done.
Quick update. Golden State is now up 36-22 over Minnesota with 6:07 left in the first half. Last comment here from Michael Yost. He says, we have seen abysmal run plays that drive us all crazy. I think most of those run plays were good in theory, and it just was not well executed.
Yes, and I think we abandoned the run a lot, or we did last year. I feel like we need to be more committed to, running the ball and creating some rhythm with some guys instead of like going like every third carry, someone subbing in and out. I don't know. It doesn't let you like run the ball very well. And like Nick Chubb ain't gonna, it's not gonna work for him. That's not the kind of running back he is. No wonder we didn't take Johnson out of Iowa. That's who he is. Like, he needs carries to.
He's the bell cow. And he is a bell cow back. He's an every down back.
We were never going to get one of those.
Well, no, that's not the type of game that Sean Payton plays.
Yeah.
Even though I know that my saying that is about to make Yost have an aneurysm in the comments.
Yeah.
It will always be, as long as Sean Payton is our coach, there might be a running back that gets 60% of the carries, but there will always be a committee system in place. That's just how Sean Payton plays, calls the running back position.
Yeah.
So, Yost then says, we have the most money in the NFL. Let's put it to use and offer Saquon a deal that he couldn't refuse. Full-on Godfather coming in here. Make him an offer he can't refuse.
I donated to my local Walmart. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. The only thing about that, bud, is that the Eagles would have to be willing to part with him because he's under contract. We could offer him all the money in the world, but he is under a signed contract that he cannot break. So the only way to make that happen would be to get the Eagles to surrender his contract, no matter what we offer him. So I don't know. I want to hit your last comment there, Jay, before we get out of here. You donated to your local Walmart. Is there anything more satisfying than going to Walmart and seeing Kansas City Chiefs fans and Raiders fans walking around shopping? I've literally walked up to a few of them before and been like, "Thank you for supporting the Broncos." Like, it's so satisfying knowing that, you know?
It is. I mean, that is an interesting turn of events that I never predicted in Broncos history, that we would team up with Walmart.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just, what a weird turn. Would you have guessed that when we were kids?
Hell no. But then again, when we were kids, Jay, I saw the Bolin family owning the Broncos forever.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't foresee that the children of Pat Bolin were going to be such, Dinguses. Devils. Yeah. And that, with Pat Bolin's death, that this team would fall under the control of Joe Ellis and and a trust for so many years.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing of Broncos history, of like the ins and outs of why we are where we are. So
what we're saying is a boys' trip to Philly with some chloroform and a tank of gas, and we just steal him. Shanghai Saquon Barkley. He wakes up in the Broncos locker room wearing orange and blue. Don't think that it worked that way. It'd be fun, but it'd be kind of like stealing a mascot in college, I think. D-Rock says, small but reasonable hope. Beat KC in KC.
It could happen.
Hey, we came this close. I mean, this close last year.
It'll happen.
And then Yo says, we just need to pay the refs better, D-Rock. Toss them some of that Walmart money, yeah? Listen, ref, you call a fair game against the Kansas City Chiefs, we'll give you a $1,000 shopping, or a $10,000 shopping spree at your local Walmart.
Here's a gift card.
Yeah, here's your gift card. It's time to roll back. D-Rock, big but reasonable hope. AFC West champs. I think it's reasonable. It's big, but I do think it's reasonable. So
we'll see.
There's so much to unpack, guys, and and we're doing our best. And we thank you, of course, for hanging out with us, staying with us right now, because we don't have a whole lot to talk about. I mean, that we haven't already talked about. We will always come with you live every week, but the truth is right now at this point in the year, we beat the draft to death, and now we gotta wait for something more to talk about, right? So. We appreciate you guys bearing with us and staying with us through all of the monotony that is the off season. And that's right. I just used the word monotony. And we really appreciate you, Broncos Country. We appreciate all of you. So please, if you guys haven't already, if you would please like, subscribe, share, comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Check out the audio version of our podcast for Orange and Blue Network on all your favorite platforms. Then, of course, our sister station, MHRT Network. Like, subscribe, and share, comment, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, even Instagram. Guys, we'd appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea how much love we have for everybody in Broncos Country. Actually, you probably do, because I'm pretty sure you have the same love for everybody else in Broncos Country, just like us. So, any final thoughts tonight, Jay, before you want to roll out of here?
No, sir. Go Broncos. And more recently here, go Nuggets for tomorrow night. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go Nuggets.
Yep.
We got this. We got this, man. Look, we did it once. Okay. Indiana just did it twice. to the Cavaliers.
Yep.
And the Cavaliers were number 1 in the East. We're taking on the number 1 seed in the West. We've already beat them once at home. Let's do what the Pacers did just now and do it again to them tomorrow night.
Oh, the vibes would be crazy going into
Immaculate.
Denver. Game 3 would be
vibes.
nuts. Like up 2-0
God.
after OKC.
Oh, seriously,
Crazy
we
enough.
beat OKC 2 times on their home court, man. I might just sell my kidney to be at Game 3.
Yeah, it might be a sweep.
So, anyway, let's see. We got a couple of last comments here. D-Rock saying, don't release Dondre Tillman.
Ooh, that's a really good take.
It is.
You should copy and paste that somewhere else. Cause you should say that again, because that needs to be said a lot more.
It does. I think he's gonna.
He's really good.
He's very good. I think he's vastly underrated. Yost gives us a Mile High salute. We got D-Rock saying Mile High Country, love it, and then of course he ends it with the thumbs up, the clapping hands, the peace sign, all that. So thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight, and we'll see you next week. Don't forget to check out Broncos Talk tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain. It's going to be a good time. They always have a great show. If you like speaking Spanish, or you speak Spanish as your first language or second language, and you're looking for a good podcast for that, don't miss Viva Los Broncos on Fridays, also at 6 p.m. Mountain. And then get ready, because coming up in less than a month, the debut of the Broncos Bros right here on the Orange and Blue Network. Guys, we thank you for being with us tonight. We can't wait to continue to see how this season rolls out. Hopefully, we'll have a little more to talk about, like maybe, say, player numbers, rookie numbers, next episode. But until then, Jay, I love you, cousin. You have a good night, and go Broncos! Bye!
Orange and blue, we're here for you. Talking Broncos all day through. No stopping us, we're on the loose. Come join the crew, no bad news. Podcast vibes so fresh and true. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Catching up on all that we knew. Replay, let the episodes accrue. Nothing rhymes with